Earth News Tonight. Ed Miliband, new leader of the Labour Party, and Brother David. British politicians, or simply another two traitorous goons in the pocket of the global elite while they support transference of British sovereignty to the EU? You decide.
Miliband, do you not feel you might be wasting your time a bit in writing a manifesto when you don't stick to your last one with regards to the EU referendum?
No, we're definitely going to stick to our manifesto. We always do.
Well, how come we're not having a referendum? Why is this European Reform Treaty?
And we've stuck to it on European reform, on the European Reform Treaty as well.
It's not going through this week. It's a three-line whip. There's no referendum.
Nice to see you.
You're giving away our power, Mr. Miliband. You're giving away the people's power. They gave.
I don't agree with that. Actually.
You are though.
I don't agree with that.
The Parliament may as well just be like a mayor's office.
Well, that's not the way I see it. But
well, how do you see it?
Well, I think Parliament plays a very important role. In fact, it's starting to debate the EU Reform Treaty on Monday, and there'll be a vigorous debate.
There won't be a vigorous debate. It's a three-line whip.
But I suggest you try and attend the debate, and there'll be a very vigorous debate in Parliament.
It's a three-line whip, so the MPs have got no choice but to vote through.
I find amongst my colleagues that they understand the need.
It's my democracy that you're giving away.
No, I don't think we are giving away democracy.
It is. The laws are going to be written in Europe.
No,
by people like Peter Mandelson, who Tony Blair's appointed in the Royal Prerogative, who's writing the trade laws for Europe.
I think you're listening to people who. No,
I'm not. I'm listening to Tony Benn telling me this.
Well, I don't agree with
This is Tony Benn.
I've got great respect for Tony Benn. I don't agree with him on this issue.
This isn't a nationalistic issue at all. I'm not a nationalist at all. This is an issue of democracy, and you are giving away the people's democracy. You have no right to give away our democracy.
I don't.
Absolutely no right to be doing this.
I don't see it that way.
But you should look at it this way.
No, I don't see it that way. I mean, the EU Reform Treaty is about putting into practice enlargement of the EU, which I think is the right thing.
So have you actually read the treaty? Have you read this Reform Treaty?
Actually, you find that lots and lots of people support the EU Reform Treaty. Look, I'm going to have to go and say hello to other people.
Thanks for your time anyway.
Thank
I mean,
you very much.
have you actually read it? Can you tell me if you've read it all? Can you tell me if you've read the Reform Treaty?
I know lots about the Reform Treaty.
So you've not read it? You've not read it?
Now, for those of you who believe in your democracy, take note of the comment regarding the whips involved in any significant voting decisions by any one of the parties. You're not involved. Also consider this: if it's between simply you and an elected politician, who decides whose view is correct? Does it default to the politician's view because he's the one that you, the people, voted for? But did you vote for him to give away your power? Once he has your vote, he dances to a very different tune, and you don't write the melody. Now let's just listen to Tony Benn, just for a few moments, to hear what he has to say.
Now we have a constitutional treaty which transfers more powers to Europe, and we are not going to be allowed even to say whether we approve it. And what is wrong about that is very straightforward. In a democracy, the sovereignty belongs to the people, not to Parliament. And if Parliament does transfer powers away, it is stealing rights that don't belong to it, because an MP is lent the powers of the public for 5 years, and then you have to hand it back in the next election. But if in the 5 years you give it away to somebody else, then in the next election you can't repeal the laws they've made, and it is a theft of public rights.
We cannot now have the referendum that we were promised. The decision to promise and then to deny a referendum was taken by Tony Blair and Gordon Brown. The betrayal was backed and matched by the Liberal Democrats. And I believe it ranks alongside the expenses scandal as one of the reasons why trust in politics has broken down. Never again should it be possible for a British government to transfer power to the European Union without the say of the British people in a referendum. This is a major constitutional development. But I believe it's now the only way to reassure the British people that powers cannot be given away without their explicit approval in a referendum. And this is important because, after all, it is not politicians' power to give away. The power belongs to the people.
So there you have it. Who do you wish to listen to? David Cameron on the right wing or Tony Benn on the left wing? take your pick. While the Miliband brothers, as you will see David state in a moment, they just don't see it that way and refuse to enter any debate. Why? Because they would be shot in flames. It's far too dangerous a topic for the British electorate to get to grips with. The question is, however, why have they done this? All the way back through successive governments to 1972 and planned well before it. The answer is simple, but you need to study just a little. But you don't. You'd rather bleat and moan in your ignorance while being bent over and shafted time and time again while you're all swingers. Swinging from left to right. One-dimensional simpletons.
Mr. Miliband, where's our referendum? Angela Merkel says the European Reform Treaty is 99% European Constitution. In your manifesto, you said we would have a referendum on this.
We said we'd have a manifesto on a referendum on the Constitution, but as Angela
But that's what Angela Merkel said it is.
99%. As Angela Merkel and every other European leader said that the Constitution has been abandoned, to quote her.
But it's an affront to our democracy. You're handing away our power, Mr. Miliband. You're handing away our power, the people's power. You're giving it to the corporations.
That's your view, but it's not mine.
But Angela Merkel says the new treaty is 99% the same as the Constitution.
It's exactly the same, Mr. Miliband. There's only 10 differences in that treaty. Only 10. You're giving away our power. We voted you, and you're giving our power away.
The words haughty, little, and bastard come to mind.
With regards to the European Reform Treaty, we actually interviewed your father, who's very against this European Reform Treaty. What are your thoughts? Are you going to be voting yes?
I am going to be voting in favour of it, yes I am.
Why are you giving away our democracy, Mr. Ben? This is our democracy.
Because Parliament is going to decide, and we elect our Parliament.
We said you said we'd have a referendum.
That was when a different treaty was being proposed.
It wasn't. It's 99%. Angela Merkel says it's 99% the same treaty.
With respect, it was very different in character. It was. Well, that's my view, and we live in a democracy. Okay. Cheers.
I think you're letting the people down, Mr. Ben.
You know, it's really strange. The words haughty, little, and bastard come to mind again.
He felt the mantle of deputy leader come upon him. Building a progressive coalition across the party and in the country would be critical to all of this, but there's still so much more to be done as he turned into Hilary Benn, deputy leader. As he walked out of the shop bidding farewell to Ian McCartney, he said, Labour politics does change lives, and we need to ensure that all parts of our community are able to share in the prosperity.
I have to say that for a promise of new politics, I've been pretty disappointed to see what they're trying to do to the British Constitution. They're trying to say that instead of the old
55% thing,
exactly, instead of the old situation where if you don't get 50% in the House of Commons, then there has to be a general election or Parliament has to dissolve. They're trying to change the goalposts. That's pretty shameful old politics in my view, and I think it's not surprising that Conservatives, as well as Labour and Liberal Democrats, are expressing concern about that.
Is that going to be something you would expect to defeat even in this complicated new House of Commons?
Well, I certainly think it's something that we'll be arguing against and voting against in the House of Commons, because I think people don't want people to be playing fast and loose with the Constitution in this way.